It's not always sunshine and rainbows out on the water. Sometimes we're going to get out there and we're going to have a bad day. Kind of like some of the instances we're about to see in this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Our first incident to make the boating news this week is going to be a collision at sea. Well, that might be a little extreme for this situation, but I'll tell you what, I bet many of us have been guilty of something similar to this in the past as well. We get out of the water, we see a big beautiful yacht and get really excited, and really just want to get a closer look at how the other side lives. Well, this family took that to the extreme. This is the scene this past week in the Vigueria estuary in Spain, where this 21-foot sailing vessel pulled up alongside the 143-foot vessel known as the Sailing Yacht A. This small vessel accidentally sailed into the side of the gigantic mega yacht valued at around $530 million. In the images here, it can be seen with one of the members on the small sailing vessel struggling trying to get a motor started to be able to pull away from the yacht. Despite initial reports that they left a huge scratch marks down the side of the vessel, the yacht's owner's representatives confirmed that the smaller vessel got away, only leaving minor paint scuffs in a 1-meter section. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us down to Florida, where things got a little explosive over at Lauderdale by the Sea, where an unusual discovery was made early Sunday morning by a deputy on patrol who wound up finding a military explosive device washed up on the beach. Police officials quickly secured the area around the device. They also called in the sheriff's office's bomb squad as well as the U.S. Air Force to investigate the incident. The device did have the word inert written on the side of it, indicating that it may have been used for training, but at this time the military has still not confirmed exactly where this came from. Crew members of the U.S. Air Force were able to successfully dig this device out of the beach without incident. It was loaded on a trailer and has been carried to a local naval facility for further inspection. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to keep us in South Florida, where this past week, Broward County Sheriff Fire Rescue, the U.S. Coast Guard, and Fort Lauderdale Police all assisted fire rescue workers in rescuing 4 people off the coast of Fort Lauderdale when their boat overturned. Initial reports indicate that the anchor line became entangled in the propeller, the boat got turned sideways and wound up capsizing on a large wave. The crew was able to get off a radio distress call as well as a 911 phone call to let authorities know they were in trouble. Due to the quick response time of local authorities, all 4 members that were on board this vessel were rescued. One member did go to the hospital for water ingestion, but a full recovery is expected. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to Australia, where this past week emergency services were called to a marina near Dangar Road at Brooklyn, just north of Sydney, after reports a boat had exploded on the Hawkesbury River. There were reportedly 8 people on board the vessel, which was at the fueling dock at the marina. Fortunately, a mother and her 2-year-old child had exited the vessel to go grab ice cream. The other 6 members, unfortunately, were on board the vessel when it exploded. At this time, it's currently being speculated that the fire was started by a stray spark, which ignited fumes from the fuel that was being used to refuel the vessel. This really is a tragic scene. All 6 people who were on board this vessel are being treated for burns around their body. One of them is even in critical condition.
It's one of the worst incidents I've seen in my career in 15 years in ambulance.
I really do hate telling these stories where people got injured, but you know what? Sometimes it just needs to be told to serve as a reminder. Always run your blower, always do everything you can to air out your engine compartment before you try and hit the ignition. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to be a U.S. Coast Guard nighttime rescue, where a U.S. Coast Guard air station crew was sent out to rescue a man who had ran his vessel hard aground approximately 16 miles south of North Caicos in the Turks and Caicos island chain. Here in these images released by the U.S. Coast Guard, you can see a U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer being lowered down to help bring this man to safety. The man was safely hoisted with the assistance of the rescue swimmer back to the helicopter with no apparent medical concerns and was transported back to Provo, TCI. I always find these night rescues incredible. This really does have to be a tough scene to work in these kind of conditions. No light whatsoever other than what's coming from the helicopter, yet these guys seem to pull it off all the time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out in your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here, just like Stu Niven, Tim Schmidt, and Jace Mack did this week. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button. If not, we're coming to steal your drain plug.